Okay, so, admittingly, I have been playing the Bloons games for a long time at this point, and bought Bloons Tower Defense 6 years ago. But since it was released as one of the free games on Epic recently, I think this is a good time to cover it as any. Now, I don't remember if I started with BTD 4 or 5, but I can tell you, Ninja Kiwi made the best in-browser games I have ever played. Bloons wasn't love at first sight though. It took me months of seeing this cutesy, monkey-popping balloons game at the top of the ratings on Congregate, and really having an itch for a tower defense game that I just couldn't seem to scratch elsewhere, to finally give these games a try. But I can't tell you how glad I was when I finally did. And I'm sure many people have the same hang-up that I did. It was hard not to judge a book by its cover. Cute graphic styles normally mean family-friendly, which usually means simple games. And while simple can be fun in the right circumstances, that doesn't necessarily mean they translate well to solo gaming. I'm going to tell you to try to look past these though, because underneath those graphics is quite an enjoyable strategy game. And there are some cheeky, adult-themed jokes built in, such as the BFB. Sure guys, it is the brutal floating behemoth, not the big f***ing balloon. You didn't come up with the original acronym, then work backwards to make the name work. So Bloons Tower Defense 6, or BTD 6, is a tower defense game where you try to help an advanced monkey civilization from being invaded by their inflated, rubberized nemesis, the balloon. I can only assume the game creators felt the same way as me about wasting time with unneeded syllables, as they instead named these vile creatures balloons. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't look up the lore as to why balloons can only travel on paths when they are airborne entities, so we're just gonna have to leave it as suspension of disbelief. You will start off with a monkey throwing darts at said balloons, which I can only imagine started as a fever dream of the carnival game. Each wave, the balloons will become more organized, becoming stronger and faster, with greater numbers and tighter formations. To offset this, your monkey warriors will also be upgradable to better specialize in dealing with the balloon threat. Then there's the balloons, which start off as the non-threatening, weak, and slow grunt balloon, the red balloon. From this point, I'm just going to refer to the balloons by their color. Reds are your basic one hit to pop. After this, all other balloons will become compounded into layers. Think of the layers of balloons as Russian nesting dolls. As you remove one, the next weaker layer will be revealed. Reds are inside of blues, which are inside of greens, which are inside of... Okay, I think you got it. On top of each of these balloons layers gaining higher popping resistance, they will also move faster. And as you make it further into the waves, you will start being introduced to specialty balloons, which all have unique properties. Black is immune to explosive, white immune to freeze, while lead are immune to piercing, and all of these can also be camoed, which allows them to sneak by most monkeys without detection. There's regrowths, ceramics, fortified. Should I even mention the Moabs? So how did we go from a monkey throwing darts to having to worry about balloons that are piercing immune? I think the old adage goes, as the universe makes tougher to pop balloons, the monkeys will just make sharper sticks. And good news, everybody. The Geneva Convention doesn't exist in the monkey's world. And as such, not only are war crimes against balloons acceptable, but creativity for repelling the invaders seems encouraged. Bullets, bombs, fire, ice, nukes, lasers, batarangs. All acceptable ways to extinguish this polymerized plague. Even raising the recently deflated and sending the unflated back against the attacking balloons is justifiable. Again, suspension of disbelief. No need for personification here. Some of the most fun about this game is getting to that awesome tower upgrade. Things like the cybernetic armed boomerang monkey, or the plasma ray eyes of the super monkey feel absolutely game-changing. But choosing between the 3 upgrade paths of every tower can be really tough because of what you are giving up. You are only allowed to pick 2 of the 3 upgrade trees, and the secondary path can only be increased to the second upgrade. Think of it kind of like a major and minor in college. Your monkey specializes in something, while having some flexibility in their capabilities. Every monkey will have their own unique strengths, while needing to cover each other's weaknesses to succeed. You will need towers that take multiple layers off of tough balloons, while others that can hit a lot of balloons at once. And while it is also fun finding your favorite towers, it can also become pedestrian once you find something that works. I know I definitely have my tower combinations I favor, and because of that, I try to use other towers so the game doesn't get too repetitive. But just like ARPGs and your skill choices, BTD 6's tower choices will get more stringent as you play harder content. So get as much use out of that glue monkey as you can in the early stages. Now, since I restarted BTD 6 for this review, I have to bring up how annoyed I was having to unlock all the upgrades again. This isn't the end of the world for someone starting this game for the first time, but man, I had to unlock all of these upgrades in BTD 5, and Bloons Monkey City, and BTD Battles, let alone restarting some of these games on different websites, or different platforms like mobile or Steam. But having something like the Bloon Jitsu upgrade, being locked when it is the perfect choice for a situation, could get quite tiresome. And because of this, towards the last waves of the level, I would use my extra money to just spam as many unique monkeys as I could to get their experience up. Ugh, power leveling sucks. Then, there is the Banana Farm macro game for harder difficulties. Banana farms grow bananas that give you extra cash every wave, and if done correctly, should make you more money than they cost to build. Now on one hand, this does add an extra layer of strategy to this game, which can add plenty of replayability to the levels. But I always find myself losing interest in the Bloons series when the banana farms become mandatory, and I have to replay levels multiple times, trying to figure out the exact waves to upgrade towers to survive versus upgrading the farms for enough income to make it through the later waves. Overall, I recommend Bloons Tower Defense 6, or BTD 6. If you're even remotely into tower defense games, the Bloons series are the absolute pinnacle of the genre. There is so much replayability between all the towers and their upgrades, the tracks and their difficulties, and the different challenges. And I really can't stress enough to look past the kid-friendly graphics. There is quite a deep and challenging strategy game underneath. I was glad when I finally did. Thank you for watching.